Hey guys, what's going on? So we've made a bit of progress since the last update. Got some wastegates. I bought the purple ones. So like I said in the last video, these are twin 38mm tile wastegates. These things are so fucking badass, and they're purple. I mean, seriously, look at how fucking good these things look, bud. To make it that much sweeter, I'm trying to make everything fully symmetrical. For the most part, it's getting there. I think with all that being said, I'm done with the manifolds, done with the wastegates, done with the up pipes and the dump pipes for the turbos and the wastegate. So at this point, I guess I gotta do the drains for the turbo. I ended up tapping into the oil pressure safety switch sensor thingy and ran a 90 to a T, and that's going to go to 245s so they kind of stay decently level. I gotta tilt it up a little bit, whatever. And then those are going to feed into the tops of the turbos. As for the drains, clearance is kind of tight on them, so I have this solution. These thingies. The factory oil drain flanges kind of set like that, and they got this 3/4 inch piece on there, or at least it's 3/4 inch in diameter, but what I noticed was that the inside is actually 5/8. So to help with the clearancing, I got this 5/8 aluminum tubing, and then furthermore I bent it up, at least this one. So this one is going to kind of go in at an angle and then drain like such. Make these though, I just gotta ensure that I don't run into where any of the cold side piping needs to be for the intercoolers or any of that nonsense, but it should be pretty straightforward. So I'm gonna get these things welded and we'll get back to it. Guys, so this piece is now on there, and I figure right about here I'm going to weld on this aluminum bung, and then that way we can keep part of this flexible, because I figure the last thing you want to do is to have a hard line that's prone to cracking. So I've already drilled into the lower oil pan. I'm actually going to use a 45 here, so it comes off at a better angle. But that's basically going to come up, and then, you know, figure the turbo's right there. It'll just kind of feed right into that. And it should be fucking mint. So I guess I'm gonna do that next. Alrighty guys, so I ended up making that oil drain. This is for the passenger side. Clearanced it out, and that's gonna run into this AN fitting, which is gonna go into the lower oil pan, like I said earlier. And then we'll be good to go on that. So I didn't want to make it too long because there's nothing to grab onto here, probably other than with like a pipe wrench for when you go to tighten this. So the longer it is, the more prone to cracking when you're tightening and loosening it, it'll become. So at this point, I guess I just have to do the same for the driver's side, making the return line for the oil and whatnot. And then literally at that point, I still have the factory engine harness there with the ECUs attached. I can basically go ahead, connect that to the car, and fire this thing up. So I would say in the next video, guys, we're gonna be fucking getting this thing running for the first time with turbos. Not necessarily boost, because we're not gonna have any intercooler piping hooked up yet. We can hold off on that. But at least to get an idea of what this car's gonna sound like. Oh brother, I'm so fucking excited.